AI, artificial intelligence, is being sold as the answer to every problem that we now have in our economy, from productivity to care. And don't get me wrong, I like and use AI probably more than most people are at present. But technology cannot replace purpose, meaning, or justice. And the future of work is not just about being smarter or about technology, but is about the creation of fair societies. AI will not save us unless we first decide what we want to save. The myth of automation has been the basis of every single industrial revolution. All of them have promised liberation through technology, and each time the gains have gone to owners and not to workers. AI risks repeating that pattern on a larger and maybe much faster scale, given the current take-up of the technology. Without redistribution of the gains that are going to arise from AI, automation is in fact only going to guarantee one outcome in this case, and that is deepening inequality. So let's be clear what AI really does. AI does not think. It predicts patterns from data created by humans. In essence, the vast majority of AI at this point of time simply guesses the next word in a sentence based upon a pattern that it can recognize, and that's all it does. It cannot create value, it can only rearrange it. It amplifies existing biases in the materials it's learned from, and particularly those in Wikipedia if you're using ChatGPT. It also amplifies the inequalities built into our existing data, which by and large is biased towards those with power. AI does then reflect power, but it doesn't challenge it. And in particular, it can't pose the awkward questions that those in power would rather we didn't raise, because, quite simply, that's not within its capacity. The productivity illusion inside AI is what makes it deeply pernicious. Our politicians hope that AI will solve Britain's economic stagnation. You've only got to hear Keir Starmer, Rachel Reeves and other members of the cabinet talking about AI, and you would think it is going to solve every problem that we have. And all of that is based upon the thinking of the Tony Blair Institute, who seem to be remarkably aligned with the AI bosses in California. But they're wrong. Real productivity does not now come from investment in tech. It comes from investment in education and care and not code, because it's there that value is added. Automation without reform simply cuts costs. It doesn't raise well-being, in other words. We cannot automate our way out of bad policy, and we have bad policy at present, and we do therefore need education above all else and investment in it so we can ask the right questions of what AI can do for us. There's a human dimension to all this, of course. One of the claims is that AI might create more leisure, but that also misses a vital point. Of course, we all like our leisure time, but for the vast majority of people in the UK, work provides them with an identity, purpose, and social connection. Imagine yourself for a moment at a party. What is the first question you often ask somebody, even though you're told you shouldn't? It is, what do you do? And the answer is, well, whatever it might be, but you can be guaranteed it will almost certainly be a job description. People get their identity from work. So, replacing people with algorithms erodes identity, purpose, and social connection. And when human contact becomes a cost to cut, society fragments. And that is one of the real dangers of AI. A humane economy values labour as a contribution, not as an expense, and AI might change that perception. AI concentrates power. AI concentrates political power, and we can see that already. Our political masters are using it as a tool to advance their own causes. But as dangerous is the fact that it concentrates power in corporations who own our data and the infrastructure. A recent outage at Amazon in America revealed just how vulnerable we are to that corporate power now. Revenue and Customs, some UK banks and other organisations were all brought down by a simple fault in a AI centre somewhere in the middle of America. That's what the consequence of concentrating power is. We've handed over the responsibility for our state infrastructure to a corporate entity that may not manage it very well. The government in the process has outsourced judgment to algorithms, and in a sense it's abandoned democracy because we're no longer accountable for the delivery of services, somebody else is. And when machines do in turn decide who works, who gets paid and who is watched, then freedom shrinks, because all of that is also possible as a consequence of AI. Technology without ethics becomes tyranny by code. Now, I've got to be real. AI is here. It's not going away. So we do have to accept that fact. Anybody who wants to pretend we can get rid of it is living in cloud cuckoo land. AI is as much of a change as the internet was, and the internet never went away either. But what we must use AI for is to augment and not replace human work. We must use it to be a tool, but not as a master. We must learn how to tell it what we want it to do and not be told by it what we will do. And critically, we must understand that AI is not creative. It cannot do anything that hasn't been done before, and it most certainly can't replace care. In that case, we have to design policies to share productivity gains wisely because they're based upon the sum of human knowledge and they don't belong to any one person. The goal is not fewer workers, but more fulfilled ones. AI won't save us. People will. Technology is a tool, and it's not a substitute for justice or compassion, and it's most certainly not a substitute for judgment. The future of work must be built on that sound judgment, which drives care, cooperation, and courage. The question is not what AI can do, but what kind of society we let it help us choose to build. That is the question we all need to answer. Thanks for watching this video. If you've enjoyed it, please do click the like and subscribe buttons because they do genuinely help us spread the word on YouTube. As importantly, could you have a look at the section below this video where it says more? And there you'll find a link to my blog. And if you follow that for the specific link to the blog entry related to this video, you'll find a transcript of this video and lots of other related material, plus a ChatGPT prompt that you could use to write a letter to your MP on the contents of this video, which will turn you into a campaigner, which will be a great thing to do. Finally, if you do appreciate the work we're doing, can you think about giving us a donation? If you'd like to do so, there's a link below, or you can find one on my blog where there's a Ko-fi button saying, please buy me a coffee. Thanks a lot, and we'll see you again soon.